Yes, sir. Go, boys, go.
We are live.
Yep.
What's up, everybody? Jake with Essential Motion Spinal Sport.
Jeff, same biz here.
Yeah. Chris, are you popping in?
I am. I just had to tie my shoe, and I had to get the camera ready to go.
So the Nikes here.
Yeah.
Just gonna sneak in there, Jake in the middle. Want to talk about today? Go ahead. Talk about the guy that came in this morning and what we wanted to share with people about the bracing of the abdominal wall.
Yeah, so we had a patient come in this morning. He was lifting in the back and had a pretty acute injury, we'll say. He was deadlifting. We didn't see his form, didn't see how it was, but deadlift kind of gets a bad name on when we lift, low back stuff.
About a loaded flexion.
Yeah, loaded flexion and just different cues that you need to think about or do, A, when you're deadlifting, or B, just doing, I guess, everyday stuff when you're picking up something a little heavier than usual. So I wanted to talk about different cues on abdominal bracing, how to use it, and just how it can be beneficial.
So one of the ways we want to start when we're talking about like abdominal bracing, or in this case intra-abdominal pressure, is our ability to create pressure within our abdomen here. Okay? So when we take a deep breath in, we like to see us breathe through the belly and not through the chest.
Yeah,
okay? So if I put my hands here, you can see I'm breathing through my belly and my chest is staying relatively still. What that's doing is getting the diaphragm to drop down, okay? And that puts a whole bunch of pressure, squeeze all the contents of our abdomen down against our pelvic floor, okay? So those pressures start to squeeze together, and that force has nowhere to go but out, okay? So we want that pressure going out 360 degrees all the way around our abdomen. And basically,
like a balloon pushing
like
down.
a balloon, exactly, like blowing out like a balloon. So we create that pressure, and then we can lock that in and create some tension through our core, through our back, and that can hold in that pressure, hold in that tension. And what that does is it offers a whole bunch of stability and pressure to the low back. Okay?
All the way around.
All the way and all the way around.
Yeah.
So this
Almost
can be,
like an arch, kind of like on a bridge, that
The stability,
you disperse the pressure
right.
throughout the whole thing rather than just one spot.
Just one spot. Yeah, because if you don't do that a lot of times, sometimes our big muscles on the back are the only ones that are trying to stabilize. Well, they're only so strong. So if we recruit all the other ones, the rectus, the oblique, the pelvic floor, diaphragm, and the paraspinals, they'll all work together. Like Chris was saying, you disperse it throughout, so it's going to be stronger.
yeah.
It's common in a lot of, it's an important thing to cover because it's common and it should be used in a lot of the lifts. So we're talking about the deadlift, but you can use it in the squat, even in bench press, anything where you're taking and trying to move heavy weight but protecting the low back and everything else in the area of the pelvic floor as well.
Yep.
With lifting heavy weights. So how should we do it?
So I've got a picture we can show you real quick.
Okay.
To kind of help demonstrate the point we're trying to make.
The other thing that happens with intra-abdominal pressure at times, I know Jeff and I have seen this, I think Jake's seen this too, some people can actually injure themselves from a quick intra-abdominal pressure difference, like a sneeze or a cough. Mm-hmm. When you brace and you sneeze real quick, sometimes people get this sharp back pain, or we've actually had somebody where they come in stuck down like this because they were not ready for it, they were not prepared, and they sneezed or coughed. I think the one guy was laying down, wasn't he? He was sneezing and coughing.
He was sitting,
and then that's what caused it. So go ahead and show that. I'm going to make sure this is on the screen here for you, Jake. And
Step behind here.
Yep, right there.
So you can see that here. He's doing a kettlebell swing in this picture, but he's got full pressure and he's locked down in the abdomen. So you can see in this little picture here, he's got the stiffness that he's creating, and that's resisting the force of swinging the kettlebell forward. And
cylinder is actually a really good picture of a cylinder, like everything tight around in here.
Yep.
And then the exhale, he's because he's trying to lock it down as soon as he's bringing the kettlebell forward.
Yeah.
I think that air was probably an exhalation of air.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's just a visual for you guys to get an idea of what we're trying to talk about here in resisting forces. So maybe we can show.
And going back to lifting, so some people we were talking about, I think you said he was wearing a belt, the guy that injured himself this morning. Well, some people think that's going to be like the fix-all. So if I wear this belt, I'm not going to hurt my low back. Well,
because they think that's going to lock everything, make everything tight. And it does not do it.
And actually, using the belt, you can actually you can cue yourself. You can feel that brace in all. Like if you get it, tight around through here, then you brace, or you push into it, that's good feedback to say, oh, hey, oh yeah, I got pressure all the way around. So using the bell is great because it's a feedback. It gives you a little protective, but you actually have to use it properly and get that pressure into the belt to actually make it work.
But not rely on it or think in your mind, oh, I have a belt on, so that should save me. I don't need to do anything. Yeah, it's there, like you said, to really push against so that it feels that tightness rather than say, well, I got a belt on, so I'm fine to just get all flexed. And okay, I like that. Should we try it? You want to?
Should we show like 90-90 and then dead bug and then go into some lifts, or how do you want to do this?
I like those. Yeah, go supine and work on even like a single, like something that inter-abdominal pressure, and then we'll go.
Okay, cool.
I'll grab this so that you guys can. Let's go over this.
Okay. So one thing we like to work on with people is getting in we just call it like a 90-90 position. So it's an easy way that you can get the core, I guess, to kind of
I'm gonna come around this way.
Get the motion down. So one, we start with a lot of supine breathing. So if you've ever been in our office, back in the chiro, especially, we do some belly breathing here. So hand on chest, hand on belly, trying to feel that expansion, keeping this hand as non-moving or just as quiet as we can. So just working on through here. Sometimes we can get, poke it through here. And so you feel my finger there. Kind of push out or breathe into it. You can kind of feel, because you want to feel the expansion through the back, through the side, through the front, even almost all the way down to like your hip bone down there too. And then we let you hold the legs here, so that's going to create even more pressure. This is, even if you do have a low back pain, this is a fairly safe position for it because your center of gravity is over it.
Flat there.
It's when we start getting the feet out here, or sometimes you want to arch the back. So being in this position
or really high knees to chest to really flex it with the bottom flexion. That's you see how his legs his butt starts to come up when he flexes really far. Yep.
Yeah. So we start doing some breathing in this position, and then we can go into more core type work where we want to say, quote unquote, kind of wake up the core, get some of those muscles to activate. We call it dead bug is a big one. This is a good baseline one to start with. So just moving the arms over, because when you're moving the arm over this way, we're trying to keep the ratio where the ribs are to the pelvis. We want to keep that the same, because when we start moving the center of gravity away, what wants to happen is sometimes people want to arch that back, like Chris was saying there. So keeping that kind of locked down per se.
Yeah. So one of the
still being able to breathe though. That's the thing. It's not holding your breath. There's you can increase or produce abdominal pressure, inter-abdominal pressure, but Jake's not holding his breath. He's still breathing.
Yeah, you can do both. So I'm going to start out with some leg motions. And these are something good to do before a big lift sometimes. So say if you're going to go heavy with squat or deadlift, just to kind of get the core open up a little bit. Doing some dead bugs, or even challenging, even pushing down into here, just trying to get the
both hands on the front of your knee and just push and hold.
Yep.
Isometrics. Yep, a little bit of lower ab, push and hold, like that one. Very good. Very good. Well done.
Perfect.
That's the intra-abdominal pressure. Did you want to demonstrate?
Yeah. So
one time on some light weight. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, this is a whole bunch of weight here.
maxing out.
Yeah, right, maxing out here. Yeah. So I'll get that nice belly pressure here. I'll create that tension. I'll come down to the lift.
Go.
Maintaining that all the way through.
So the top, are you exhaling at the top, at the bottom?
Yeah, so
where's your breathing at with this
I'm
one?
gonna take that breath in, like a nice big breath in right before I go up.
Sits his hips down.
Create that tension.
And then
you
lets it
breathe
out.
out at the top, and then it's important to hold that tension again as you go down so you can take another breath in.
I think that's really important because the times I've noticed that I've hurt myself on the lifting, either with a deadlift or anything, kind of is more on the eccentric or the way down.
Right.
Because I brace myself and do real well on the concentric, or what's called the positive part of the lift. So that's the lifting up of the weight.
Yeah.
And then once you get there and you're like, man, I've accomplished the weight. Now letting it back down safely, and then that's where I lose it sometimes, and I'm like, oop, I think I hurt myself on the way back down. I've done that with, catching the weight on clean, and or setting it down, or with setting it down from a deadlift in the past, and that's because I've lost that intra-abdominal pressure because I thought I was done, and I was only halfway through the lift. So
Yeah,
very important. Okay,
definitely important stuff.
good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you, Jake.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think what we'll do, I'll put a post in later, but let's go and be a question and answer again later in the week. That one went pretty well last week. We'll answer any of your questions again later in the week on pain, injury, anything really, chiropractic wise, techniques, things that you have questions on or just not quite sure how that works. We'll be glad to come on and explain that to you. Maybe Thursday or Friday.